Respected Srimati Sudha Murty, Chairperson of Infosys Foundation. And I can coin a whole lot of words for her, but beyond that, I would say that I am a fan of hers, and it's a real privilege to do this fireside chat with her. She's an author, she's an entrepreneur, she's a social worker, she's an educator. You can call her so many things, and she does everything with a passion. So a very warm welcome to Srimati Sudha Murty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to have all of you at this AIMA session today. And I want to thank all of you because, as I said earlier in the morning session, it's great to see all of you physically at this session. And we have India's most iconic philanthropist and author, Ms. Sudha Murty. Sudhaji, it's a real honor to have you with us at this National Leadership Conclave, and many thanks for agreeing to do this session. For me, you epitomize the perfect combination of wealth and compassion, and you have made a big difference to the lives of millions of people in our country who need it the most. Your outstanding work in the area of education, healthcare, equality of income creation, culture, and public hygiene has set new standards for the wealthy people of this country. Your contribution to modern Indian literature in Kannada and English is really staggering. As I told you earlier in the morning, both my daughters read your books, and they have really found them to be greatly educating them on various topics of life and not only literature. A prolific writer, you have authored at least 30 books across different genres and enriched the readers. You are also one of the original angel investors in India. The famous story is you put 10,000 rupees to start Infosys, and the rest, they say, is history. But you are the one who gave the courage to start a business like that. You have received awards for both philanthropy and writing, and you continue to shape the new generation with your sage counsel through your books and interaction. We feel privileged to have you with us for a chat on non-financial philanthropy, something that you strongly advocate. I always say, it's easier to give money than your time, and you do both. So it's really amazing to see how you do philanthropy. I remember Dr. Abdul Kalam, the former president of India, come to Goa once, and he said, the biggest philanthropy that you can do is educate the children of all the maid help that you have in your house. If you can educate 2, 3, 5 of them, he said it's much bigger philanthropy than, donating money. So I think the whole topic today is the social work part of philanthropy, how you get involved, how you structure it. And I'm very grateful that Sudhaji is here to share her views on that. I would now request Srimati Sudha Murty to say a few opening comments. And then, as she has told me, she likes more of questions rather than long speeches. So we'll take it from there. Thank you very much.
Hello, namaste. I'm sorry I can't come physically, but still I can give my sermon. Being a teacher for me, if I see a mind, I can speak next 45 minutes until the next parent leaves. And that's what I told Srinivas Dempo, that being a teacher, we are used to talking to others. And being a mother, I talk more. So I said I'd rather spend time in question answers. As a rule, I don't see any questions before because I always believe, telling truth, and truth does not require preparation. So I said, let me have that fireside chat. A lot of people mistake philanthropy to money. Money is very essential, it's one of the components in philanthropy, but it is not all the components. Once, I'll give a simple incident. Once I went to one session about 20 years back. Not now. Now my face is quite well known. That time people did not know me. 2 women were sitting and discussing that, their daughter is really bad in everything, what to do. Then she thought, make her a social worker. Then the other lady asked, is it very difficult to do social work? Oh, no, not at all easy. Look at Sudha Murty. No, she doesn't have much brain in her head. and she writes the check, and poor her husband has earned money, and all that money is spent to buy this brainless woman. Because social worker means no brain and write checks. I just tapped their shoulder and said, no, that is really not true. Philanthropy means it is loving the fellow human being. It's in Latin, philanthropy means loving the fellow human being. You should love human beings first. Whether you have money or not is a secondary, but you must love your mankind or your people. Second thing, you should give when it is needed. It is not money alone. It's kind words, a hug, a small pat on the back. These are all philanthropy. Sharing difficulties, they are all philanthropy. So they said, I told them, don't ever talk so low of philanthropy. Then said, who are you? I said, I'm Sudha Murty. And they said, I said, when did you meet me? They said, we met you in the morning. You have changed so much. I said, no, that's not true. You can pass any comment on me, but philanthropy is a subject by itself. It's an art of science. How much to give, when to give, what not to give, when is the exit policy. And more than that, it is a compassion towards fellow human beings. And it is something which makes people to survive in this society. So today I'm very happy to take any question, and in my small circumference, and would like to answer. So I will be very happy to give my experiences about philanthropy, what we should not do, where you have to hold hand, and ultimately the golden rule of philanthropy: don't expect when you do something for others. It's a natural thing. People expect something from, I helped you, you should help me back. That is not a philanthropy. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's not philanthropy. Just do it because you would like to do. By doing that, you feel happy, and share whatever you feel like, your experience, your ideas, your talk, money, whatever you would like to share it. That is, I call basic philanthropy. The mantra for philanthropy is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Let whole world be my family. Thank you. I think we have only 45 minutes. Let's start the questions.
Thank you, Sudhajita. I think those were really wonderful opening comments. Just something that strikes me, whatever you've said. Where has all this come for you? What was your childhood like? Are these really the foundations that you built through your parents? If you can share us your journey a little bit about your childhood, and how have you really got this compassion, for the less privileged, and how you live such an austere lifestyle. Has it anything got to do with how you've been brought up and how your child was like?
Yes, but I don't come from a rich family, actually. And neither I was married to a rich man. Okay? I come from a teacher's family. My grandfather was a school teacher. My father was a doctor and a professor. My mother was a school teacher. So in our family, we have always seen how elders behave. I've written one article on that, red rice granary. My grandfather used to always donate, we used to grow rice. He used to donate always good rice to the people who come and ask. And second quality rice. In those days, brown rice was considered second quality. Today, it is the premier quality. And that was given to children to eat in the night. So once I asked my grandfather, why should we do all these things? Why you should give the best to the people who come and beg? He told me, quoting Upanishad, he was a Sanskrit scholar, he said, Danam priyavaksayitam, shraddhahi danam, ashraddhahi na danam. He said, when you give away, give always in a good faith. When you give, you should not have that kind of a pride, oh, I gave it to someone. And when you give, you should always thank the receiver. You gave me an opportunity to serve you. So he said, dana or giving away is a kindest act. And you should always pursue, irrespective of your wealth, whatever you have, part of it should go. So this is the way I've been brought up. My father was an atheist. He always told, look, my God is not in the temple, church or masjid. My God is always with the patients. Whenever any patient comes in the middle of the night, he says, I will get up because for me, he is one of the patients. But for him, I am the only doctor because we are in a smaller place. So these kind of things which influenced me a lot. And later part of my journey, we never got money immediately. When I was married to Narayan Murthy, he was jobless actually. Okay, then he got a smaller job. Then that's the reason I have to give him 10,000 rupees. It's a matter of luck that we all got it. And many years I used to think, why did we get this money? What is the real reason? Now I have realized it is meant for benefit of others, and I work along with that line.
I'm just tempted to ask you another question, since you said that you did not marry a rich man. And, once he became rich, how generous he was to you in terms of following your compassion for philanthropy. And I know that both of you as a couple have done, a huge amount for the less privileged sections of society. But as he was coming up in his life and as he started building wealth, how generous was he to you?
Behind every successful woman, there is an understanding man. Okay, so Narayan Murthy was completely, the checkbook was in my hand. Okay, I was generous to him. Then the lighter note. Yeah, he never ever stopped, and we always decided, this hard-earned money, whatever we have a right to spend the way we feel. So I don't interfere what he spends, neither he interferes what I do. And both of us know each other that we don't spend on ourselves, we spend probably for the other part of the society.
Thank you. Just coming to your children, you and both Mr. Narayan Murthy came from very humble backgrounds. You worked very hard. You created wealth. You started sharing it with others. But we find in today's society, there are many previous generations who do this. But it's very hard for the children to follow your footsteps. Just the way the society is built, and I'm coming to my earlier point about austerity, everybody is and I've seen your interview once when you said Rohan came to you and he said, he went for a great party which had so many things and, he enjoyed himself. How have you been able to instill the values in your children? Because, they live two worlds. They live a world with you and they live a world in school. They live a world with their friends. So what is it? And I've seen both the children have been brought up so phenomenally well with such, again, humility, down to earth, very low profile. How did you make this happen, or how did you as a couple make this happen? Well, this will be very useful for parents, parents like us.
I understand it was hardest actually. It was hardest. Because when you don't have much money, it is easy to tell, better look at this. We don't have this kind of money. When you have money, and the press writes about it repeatedly, okay, you may forget. They will remind you, you have this kind of money, okay? So children were aware of that, what they have. So as much as possible, I told children, look, there are many people who are born other side of the line, and it's your duty to help them. I used to take them with my work. Wherever I work, they used to come with me, show them what work I do. And then live by example. Like I told, my son wanted to have a big TV. I said, it's not needed so much. And second thing, you finish your 12th class, then we will see. Then he said, you see TV. I said, no, today onwards I will not see TV. Chalo, let's not have TV. So, and my daughter wanted to buy a new dress. I said, look, I'm not buying a new sari. But I don't impose on you, but you can buy maximum of 10 dresses. More than that, you have to give your old dress and buy new things. And I made it only single cupboard for her. A small single cupboard so that she should not expand it. And then, when they came to teenagers, then I told, beta, I'm your friend. Because there's a saying in Sanskrit, you can excuse everything for your children up to 5 age. 5 to 16 age, you can teach them, with care, with lesson, with experience. After 16, you should treat them like your friend. Putram midra vadacharya, they say. After 16, I became their friend in teenage, and I told, look, whatever I have told, this is my experience to lead a simple life with a happy life. However, you are going to the big world. Any decision you take or anything you do, think twice before you do. That's all. Then you have to leave. You can't make them to put them on your path because their life is much more complex than yours. Okay? And they have not seen the financial difficulties which we have seen. For example, I and Narayan Murthy worked very hard, and we never had our own house until I sold all of my ornaments and bought a small 2-bedroom house. Our children do not have that kind of a condition. So, by and large, what you live, you cannot give 100% to them. You can give them maturity, you can treat like a friend and tell them. Later it is left to them in their life. And you have to accept it. You should not get upset with them. You have to lead the way I want. No. Second thing, lead by example. You lead your way and show them this is one of the ways you can also lead and be happy. Third one is, I never bought anything for my children unless they asked for, repeatedly asked and followed it up. Like they want a new dress, I don't buy immediately. I said, why? What is the use? What is the need? Then postpone it. And when it comes to Diwali, maybe I will buy now. Not immediately what they want, because easy access I never gave to them. They never appreciate the value of money when you give easy access. What they want, they should get it. And till up to their teenage, I have done. Later, they went abroad, they had their own friends, circles, everything that is left to them. You can't guide them throughout life, but initial years you can do. Particularly habit of reading, I inculcated them in a very young age, because I said, books are never failing friends in life.
Thank you. Questions from the audience have started coming, so with your permission, I will ask. There's a question from Sogo from Batinda Management Association, who says, despite 75 years of everything, why we have more than 34 crore people, uneducated, illiterate, more than the population of entire US, and how can we rectify this situation?
Yes, there are many. It is not one solution. There are many reasons. Number one, it is a parents who should also interfere. For example, a place like Kerala, it is almost 90% are educated, because parents insist on education. If parents don't insist, whatever may be the government scheme, it won't help. Parents should, because to insist on that, they should be aware of the importance of education. Education is a magic wand, I always say, which touches a person, change their life. And great extent, parents are responsible. And when parents are not responsible, you cannot, with any policy, with any incentive, you cannot do that.
Thank you. There's another question from Mr. Amin Ladakh from the Goa Management Association, who asks, how do you plan to institutionalize philanthropy, say for 50 years?
No, I don't think of all those things. See, I was with Tatas. I was with House of Tatas, and I saw them how they used to do. And my guru is House of Tatas, where there's so much compassion, love for it. If you read Jamshedji Tata's book, he says, when he was on a deathbed, it was asked to him, look, why did you do all those things? Indian University of Science, the Taj Hotel, Tata Salt, Iron and Steel, and all these things. Why did you do? And writing a will, 1/3 of his money should go to Indian Institute of Science. Why did you do? He was on a deathbed. Then he said a simple word, for the love of my country. Okay? And I've been inspired that word. For the love of my country, I will go any extent to help. But I will not think after 50 years, after 100 years, none of them I have done. In my lifetime, what I can do, I will do. Because I always believed that this is my personal philosophy. What I can do, let me do it now. I pass this life only once. If I can show compassion, love, affection to my fellow human beings, let me do it now. That's all.
So well said. Thank you. Thank you. Another question, who asks, my 12-year-old daughter, like many of her age, is your big fan. What message you have for this younger generation?
Yeah. No, on lighter side, they make me, all these young children, they make me rich and famous. They buy my books, I get my royalty. And very funny thing is, I have written a book on a dog. Other day I was in the airport, one girl came running and told me, oh, are you Gopi's Amma? I said, yes, Gopi is my dog. Okay. So I'm known as Gopi's Amma and many more things. 12 years girl, I will tell you. People always say, look, who did not have facility? They have so much, so they should do better. No, I always feel they are under tremendous pressure compared to us. I want to tell them, look better, don't compare anybody with yourself. Every flower is beautiful. Every zebra has a different stripe. You are a gift of the God with certain good quality, certain weak qualities. And nobody is perfect. So don't compete with anybody, compete with yourself. Like I'm not good in things, what you know. Try to improve it day by day. And again, take it, you are in a rat, concentrate on your books, on knowledge, more than by hearting. You have to play, use electronic gadget as minimum as possible. I don't say don't use, because today Wikipedia is a part of their curriculum in a way. But use it as little as possible. Play well, study well, try to learn, understand knowledge and learn well. That is the key to success, rather than by hearting and getting marks. That's what I want to tell them. And more than her, I want to tell her parents, don't push your children for your dreams, unfinished dreams. I wanted to become a doctor, I could not. Okay, let my son become doctor. I will provide everything what he wants, including money. No, he may be having a different marathon. He or she should run his own marathon. You can't put him on your shoulder and run for him. Your children are not your extension of your unfinished dream. Allow them like a natural bud to flower. And then lead by example. You want your children should read well, you sit and read well. You want your children should tell truth, you tell truth first. You are the role model, not Sudha Murty. It is not Narayan Murthy. It is not anyone else. Parents are role models to children. Spend quality time with children. Don't put them on a TV and put a cartoon and then you go somewhere. Don't spend time talking to them and looking at your iPhone. Don't do that. Spend quality time with children. Lead by example. What you want your children should do, you should do that first. Don't buy too many things to them.
Thank you. Since you mentioned, Sudhaji, that, you talked about Tatas earlier, I know you had the courage to write to Mr. J.R.D. Tata when you were refused a job. And I think that was phenomenal because most of us in this room will not do that. So you fought against injustice, and then you managed to get a job. But I had a different question. What was your experience in this job after you got a job with Chairman's intervention? What was it working like for telcos?
Actually, it's very funny. Many people write to me a postcard and say, you wrote a postcard to JRD, you got a job. I will write a postcard to you, I should get a job. It is not, my intention was not to get a job from Tata. I just wanted to tell him, look, because I was the only girl in the university. And when I joined engineering college in 1968, before many people in the room were born at that time. So it was something unheard, a girl becoming engineer. See, people commented, I come from a small town known as Hubli, I think nearer to Goa, you may be knowing that. It's a small town and I came from a small Orthodox family. So when I said I will become engineer, people thought something is wrong in my brain. However a girl can dream of engineering, something is really wrong. Then they thought something is wrong with my father. He was a doctor and a professor in a medical college. He said, Dr. Saab, okay, anyway the girl is cracked, okay. But you should, as an elderly person, should tell her, don't get into wrong things. Tell her to become, a BA or BSc, or at the most maybe a lady doctor up to MBBS. If she goes to engineering, what will happen in the society kind? They said lights will go off, because she will be a bad engineer. Look at that bias. And when I did my engineering fairly well, I written an article on that, how to beat boys. Okay, men in this room should excuse me. I always consider women are smarter. Okay, they don't show it. They make men to show they are smart, but we are smarter than you people. So when I wrote to Tata, it was my intention to tell, look, it is not the gender. It is not the gender. It is hard work and IQ that matters. But my intention was not to get a job. Actually, I got admission at MIT and I wanted to pursue my PhD. So when I came back to Hubli, and I thought I'd done a great job, writing to J.R.D. Tata, and they interviewed me and gave me a job. I said, I'll think over and get back to you. I told my father, I wrote a letter to J.R.D. and I got a job. And he said, what do you want to do? Normally, girls are very, very friendly with father. I'm sure all of you know that. Girls are very fond of father. So I told my father, saying that, he will really appreciate my guts. My father said, you don't have brain, you have proved it. I said, why? He told following reason. Number one, such a great person. You send a postcard, can you not send a bundle of a clothes cover? I said, I never thought about it. Okay. Second thing, what answer did you give? I will think over it. I said, he said, why did you say that? I said, no, I'm not taking my job. I'm going to US to pursue my PhD in computer science at MIT. He said, then why did you ask this fundamental question? Why women are inferior? Why they should not get a job? I said, I wanted to prove them. We are as good as them. He said, no, you have done a wrong thing. If you have opened this Pandora box, why women should not do this one, then you are responsible to show that you are equal to a boy in the job. And how you can be irresponsible? I have treated you like a boy at home, given you engineering education, and now when your turn has come, you have become selfish to go abroad and do your PhD, and I know for sure, it was the year 1974, you will not come back. You will become a good professor, you may be a director there, you may achieve something, but you will not come back like most Indians do. So when your path was so clear, how can you write such a letter? He says, if I have brought up you rightly, think over it what you have done and do the justice for your cause. I thought for 3 days, and it is not like today's time. It is my life, it's my decision. Then I said, what my father tells is truth. I tore the admission letters in tears, and I joined House of Tatas. I don't have any regrets for that. Actually, it gave me a lot of strength in life. If there is any injustice in life, you should get up and fight, or you should argue for that. You may not get any personal benefit. You may not earn money. You may be singled out as a crack person, but still you should do. And I always believed in that ideal, like if the cause is good, fight for that, including when I gave 10,000 rupees to Narayan Murthy. Normally people would not have given. He said, he talked in the air, India requires a revolution. Murthy talked like this. The only time when we had a machine revolution, where the people were under British, so we could not do. Now it is a time has come, India requires a software revolution, and I'm going to software company. It doesn't require heavy investment. Maybe to impress, I may be the first customer to sell, I suppose, a good salesman. He said, India requires a software revolution, logically, legally, ethically. People can become rich now. I said, okay, the reason looks nice. More than that, the honesty in his argument was nice, and I gave 10,000 rupees. So in general, whenever the cause is right, I always fight. I don't worry what people talk about me. Let 10,000 people say it's wrong, but the cause is legally, ethically is right, I will stand up. And this is what I did, whether in telco or in college or even today. It has not worn down with age. The old wine is more tastier.
So this is really inspiring, Sudhaji, really inspiring. And, the next question comes from Sumit Chaudhary, who asks, I feel helping people in one manner without making them sensitized to the idea that once they earn, they have to give it back to society is not the right thing to do. What are your comments on the same?
Yes, when you help, like Upanishad says, Dhanam Priyavaksetam, with kind words you should give. And you should believe in him. Shraddha hi dhanam. You should believe in your cause. If you don't believe, don't give. And don't expect in return. Don't expect anything in return. The moment you expect, it may not happen. Then you feel, I gave this money to that fellow. He did not acknowledge. He did not tell in public, look, I was helped by Mrs. Murthy or X Foundation. Nothing. I have learned in my journey, when you help, be happy that you got a cause to help, and you get a kind of happiness. You get a kind of happiness. At least I have enjoyed that happiness when I help people. I work for platform children. When they met their parents, platform children, they were so happy. I had tears in my eyes. I said, it is worth of that. I helped a lot of sex workers to restart their life in a better way. 3,000 of them, and I have written a book, 3,000 stitches on them. It has given me tremendous help. Actually, happiness. I used to always think, why God gave this money? And that time I got answer, because I could help these people in the lowest strata of this society so that they can relive in a better way. So when you help, you should always believe you have done your duty to your fellow human beings and don't expect anything. If you expect, you will worry, you will feel sorry, and you will be unhappy. Do that and forget. Krishna Arpanamastu. We say given to Krishna, we don't expect. So every time when I do any donation in the last 35 years, I don't even remember whom I have done that way. Okay, I always, it is on the computer, but not in my brain, because I always enjoy doing it. It has made me very young. It has made me to understand what life is. It has brought me so much happiness in real life, which probably any amount of gold, silver, or money, or any amount of land, anything would have given me. I have enjoyed my journey as philanthropist. And result of that only I have written my experiences. And they are so near to reality, and that could be one of the reasons my books are well sold.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming back, there's always, as we say in a country like India, no money is enough because, there are so many problems, there are so many issues. So Madhvi Sharma of Birla Institute of Management asks, what are your 3 top philanthropic interests and why? Because, you're doing so much in terms of education, public hygiene, building so many institutions. So out of all this, what do you think are your 3 top philanthropic interests?
It depends upon how you are brought up. For example, I am brought up by a doctor's family. So health is very important to me. I am very sensitive to health issues. Once, my sister is a doctor, by the way. Father was a doctor. Once I was in Delhi and my sister told me, I want to show you something. I thought she will take me to a nice hotel or something like that. She took me in the night to AIMS, okay? And she showed me patients sleeping on the platform, on the road, in the sense, footpaths. She said, do you know why? Or in the campus, because they don't have a dorm to sleep, because number of patients, relatives are more than number of patients inside. I said, what is the meaning? She said, it is equally important when you build a hospital, you should have a bigger place for the relatives of the patients to sleep. And that caused me to build AIMS 2, that is Jhajjar campus for cancer, a huge 100 crore building for the patients related to stay. Okay? So we have built, in Infosys Foundation where I was working, we built 5 to 7 dharmashalas, sarais, Asha Nivas, Vishram Dham. We call Jhajjar as Vishram Dham. Because poor patients require an attender and the bed is given to the patient but not to the attender, where they have to stay. So this is because of my personal association with medical science has made me extremely sensitive for medical issues. Second, I come from a teacher's family. My brother is professor at Caltech. My father-in-law is a school teacher. Okay, my brother-in-law is a professor. Only odd man out is Narayan Murty who went to business. Otherwise, we come from a teacher's family. So I'm extremely sensitive for education. Education in so many forms. Life-saving education, skilled education, education in English, education in vernacular language, with special scholarship for girls, a ladies' hostel. I'm very particular about ladies' hostel, building ladies' toilet. When I was in engineering college, they always thought no girl will become engineering, so there was no ladies' toilet at all. They said, even though she comes, she won't stay more than 1 semester because women's brain is not as bright as boys and she can't do engineering. Engineering is supposed to be a man's domain. So they never built a ladies' toilet for me, and I managed my 4 years course without ladies' toilet. So I will go home and come back. So it helped me to understand my personal experience. Men can have the whole world as their toilet, but women cannot. So I built 14,000 toilets particularly for women. So my 3 top is medical, second one is education, third is toilet. I am known as a toilet lady in Karnataka.
The next question is focused around the new generation. All of us know that the new generation is very impatient to build wealth, to create wealth for them, and there's nothing wrong in it. But what would be your message for the new generation running towards wealth creation, but sacrifice their happiness of life? And where would you draw the balance?
They will learn. By any amount of giving sermon, they won't understand. I know I used to teach computer science in the university, and I had new generation girls and boys in my class. And I used to always tell, in life, it is like a thali. When you go to a restaurant, life is a thali. You get roti, you get sabji, you get sambar, you get rice, you get dessert, you get salad. In life, you should have everything. You have to earn money, you have to donate money, you have to love people, you will be cheated by some people, you should be good to people, all these things makes it together life. They said, one of my students told me, ma'am, your stomach is full, so you can afford to talk. I think when your time is up, please tell me. Being a teacher, I talk until the next bell rings, okay? Don't wait for that. So I used to tell, beta, life should be like this. He said, ma'am, you can afford to talk. Life is not that. It's a heavy competition, earn a lot of money, etc. But after 10, 15 years, they came back and told me, ma'am, you were right. The reason is we never found, it is like unending story, We never felt happiness all the time earning money. Somewhere the crack shows. Maybe in the family, maybe in the career, or maybe exhausted psychologically, maybe all the time unhappy. It has shown on our body BP, sugar, and many other things. Tell me, ma'am, even at 70 plus, I'm 70 plus, how you manage all these things? I said, beta, it is the content in the mind. It is the content in the mind is essential in life. But you have always content like a Rishi, okay? Then yogi, then you cannot really progress in life. Somewhere the balance should be there. All the innovations have been made because you are not contented. You want a better life. But you always go on the race, then you cannot, get down from a tiger. Somewhere you should know when the tiger is drinking water, get down at that time. Okay? Life is a balance. And that balance you should understand and draw the line when you want to do. Any amount of parents telling, I giving sermon, and any book will not do. This I learned from a blind man in Tamil Nadu. Once, I was visiting in the night, like a film, it was roaring, it was pouring rain, my car got stuck, it was not like a beast albad or something that kind. Then I went to a shelter, and there I met a blind man who was a pujari. He told me, while talking to me, he told me, child, you should draw a line in life, enough is enough. And then I realized the meaning of that. I said, enough is enough. So everyone has that invisible Lakshmana Rekha, enough is enough. But if you tell a little bit at home, parents, wife, particularly wives, I tell you, more than parent, wife, and little bit to teachers in the college, okay, I believe we make a lot of impression to them. When they grow old, they remember that. And little bit of looking at life, they can draw the line early. But there is no single formula in that. I always tell, wait for a minute, look back in life. Wait for a minute, look all around. Wait for a minute, learn from the text. Wait for a minute, listen from elders. So like many rivers make an ocean, many learnings make you a mature person. And draw a line, enough is enough.
Thank you. Since we are coming to almost the end of the session, I'll ask my last question from Mr. C.K. Sharma. He says, I got my inspiration from the villages in Dharmar, Hubli, Haveri, where I was assistant commissioner in 1971-72. Today I teach underprivileged children and try to instill in them a desire to learn for the joy of learning and knowledge. Most of them, however, want to study only for degrees and jobs. What should I do?
But that's the reality. And by the way, I'm from the near place. I'm from Shigami, Haveri district, okay, in northern Karnataka. Anyway, see, we can afford to talk all these things. But, when you look, you put your feet in their shoes. There's so much poverty. They want to take up a job. What you can teach them is good ethics along with the job. Good ethics along your job can change life. Because if you work very hard and good ethics you keep, anybody would like to hire. You see, like in software industry, NASCOM has told, 85% or 75 to 85% of engineers in India are non-employable. What is the use of that? They may get degree. So when you are teaching underprivileged, whenever I help underprivileged children, I always say, learn well, keep good ethics, work hard. Then you are one of the sought out product. You are one of the sought out product. I have seen people in the lowest job doing exceedingly well with their work have reached on the top or at least middle range, or at least 10 level more than their colleagues. So along with education, I say good ethics, hard work always keeps you up. And that's what you have to teach, particularly when they are in need of job.
Thank you. Since we've come to the end of the session, I would just like, on behalf of AIMA, to express my gratitude to Srimati Sudha Murty for doing this. It was an extreme joy for me personally to do this with you. As I said, you are an inspiration to many of us, if not most of us, to many of us, and millions of Indians. You have been trying to fulfill their dreams. So this is really something, an honor for us. You've got so many awards, but I'm saying that the love of people that you get is much more than that award, and this love also comes from AIMA. I found you to be extremely honest in all your answers. It came straight from the heart. So very, very difficult to find speakers today when they don't have a put-on view. I think all your views were completely from the heart. So it's an absolute delight to do this, and I must thank you. There is one note of thanks from Dr. Poonam Devdutt, who says it's a note of thanks for the Sarai at Nimimans, Bangalore. I've used it when my daughter was... Nimas, Bangalore. Nimas. I have used it when my daughter was admitted there. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to express this gratitude to you from somebody in the audience. Thank you, Sudhaji.
I'm really touched.
Thank you, Sudhaji, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I could have been present there, but it's okay. Nowadays, distance does not matter. I wish you all the best. Have a nice session.
Thank you.
And enjoy and learn and enjoy.
And hope to see you in Goa soon, one day.
Sometime. By the time you find out your uncle.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.